If you've spent any time at the Jersey Shore, you already know the food situation is more complicated than it looks. You've got the boardwalk situation, which is funnel cake, slice of pizza, and a frozen lemonade that costs $11 because the kid behind the counter has rent to pay. That's not what we're talking about today. That's a separate genre. That's its own crime scene. We are talking about actual restaurants. Some of these places are older than your grandfather. Some of them have a James Beard nomination. Some of them have a guy in the kitchen who has been working there since the Carter administration. We're going through 15 of the best from Sandy Hook all the way down to Cape May. We start with the Gables Historic Inn and Restaurant in Beach Haven. The Gables is a meticulously restored 1892 Victorian inn that started serving food in 2006, and the entire restaurant is set up like you're being proposed to whether you want to be or not. Candlelit dining room, live piano, a 3-course prefix at $145 per person. 5 guest rooms upstairs in case you really want to commit to the night, which I respect. They got rated it a 26, which on their scale means exceptional to perfection, which is fine restaurant code for you should not order a Diet Coke here. The ingredients come from local New Jersey farms, and the menu changes with the seasons. The whole experience is designed to make you fall in love with whoever you brought. And if you came alone, it's designed to make you fall in love with yourself. The Gables is for anniversaries, for the dinner where someone is about to get a ring, for the meal where you tell each other things you don't normally say. If you bring your fantasy football guys here, you have misunderstood the assignment. Switching up the vibe, we're heading to Pete and Elda's in Neptune City. Pete and Elda's has been serving thin crust pizza since 1961, and the crust is famously so thin and so cracker-like that you could read a newspaper through it. Eater named it one of the 25 most essential restaurants on the entire Jersey Shore. Asbury Park press readers voted it their favorite slice in the state. It's home to the famous Pie Eaters Challenge, where you order an extra-large 18-inch pizza, eat it by yourself in 30 minutes, and you get a t-shirt. You go to a Jersey Shore landmark, you eat what should be a family-sized pizza by yourself in half an hour while strangers watch, and they give you a cotton garment with a logo on it. And people do it. They do it constantly. There is a wall of fame. Grown men have flown in for this. I love everything about Pete and Elda's. The no-frills room, the crackery crust, the challenge that ends with you wearing a shirt that documents your stomach trauma. This is maybe the most New Jersey restaurant in New Jersey. Close by is Reyla in Asbury Park. Reyla is modern Middle Eastern small plates, and it's one of the most acclaimed restaurants on the entire shore. This place has hummus that has been written about more than some movies. Lamb that gets compared to lamb people had on vacations. A gorgeous space on Cookman Avenue that looks like a magazine photo shoot just left. Raila is one of the restaurants that single-handedly dragged Asbury Park's food scene into the conversation with Brooklyn and Philly. Before places like this, Asbury was a town with a great music history and not a lot else going on dinner-wise. Now you can get Manhattan-level dining at the shore, and a lot of people are doing exactly that. This is date night territory. Cocktails, small plates, the works. Wear something that says, "I'm trying," but not so much that I'm trying. Next up, Bahrs Landing in Highlands. Bahrs Landing has been operating on Sandy Hook Bay since 1917, which makes it one of the oldest seafood restaurants in the country. It's 4th-generation family-owned. Frank Sinatra, Joe DiMaggio, and Ernest Borgnine were all fans of this place. And if you don't know who Ernest Borgnine is, ask someone older than you, and they will be delighted that you asked. The view is Sandy Hook Bay with the New York skyline behind it. The food is lobster, clam chowder, fried seafood, the whole Jersey Shore seafood institutional menu, executed by people who have been doing it for over a century. There's a tiki bar attached, because of course there is. Bahrs is the kind of place you take your dad and he goes very quiet for about a minute when he looks at the menu and then says, "This is a good restaurant," in a tone that means he's not going to elaborate, but he means it. Next, we're at the Ebbitt Room in Cape May. This is fine dining inside the Virginia Hotel, which is a beautifully restored Victorian property in the most Victorian town in America. Seasonal farm-to-table menu, serious wine list, candlelit dining room. The kind of restaurant where the waiter describes a dish for so long that you forget what you asked about by the time he stops talking. This is special occasion fancy. This is the anniversary dinner. The we made it through this year dinner. You will spend money. You will eat slowly. You will look across the table at the person you came with and remember why you came with them in the first place. If you go to Cape May and don't eat at the Ebbitt Room at least once in your life, you've kind of cheated yourself out of the Cape May experience. Next up is Cafe 2825 in Atlantic City. This is a 40-year-old Italian-American powerhouse in Atlantic City, where chef-owner Joe Lautato still runs the kitchen, still works the room, and still does table-side theatrics like he's auditioning for a part he already has. The room is clubby, dim, the kind of Italian-American dining room where you half expect to see a guy in a tracksuit at the next table eating clams. The baked clams oreganata are a religious experience. The Braciole has people driving in from Philadelphia, and many critics, actual food critics, not your cousin with opinions, say this place makes the best veal parm in the entire state of New Jersey. Best veal parm in New Jersey is a sentence with real weight. That is not a casual title. That is a title people fight over at funerals. And Cafe 2825 has it. Here we have the Shrimp Box, an outside-the-box patio bar in Point Pleasant Beach. The Shrimp Box overlooks the Manasquan Inlet Harbor and has a backstory that should come with sound effects. The Barmore family bought the land in 1940 as a commercial fishing dock. In 1953, they opened a tiny seafood takeout with 4 counter stools. The Giftakis family took it over in 1999 and turned it into the institution it is now. There's a plaque by the front door showing the high water mark from Hurricane Sandy, and that plaque is now part of the decor. You're going to order whatever fish came in that morning. This place does seafood the way a place that has been on a working harbor since 1953 does seafood, which is to say correctly. You're going to sit on the harborside patio at the outside the box patio bar and watch the boats come in while the sun goes down. And you're going to think to yourself, this is exactly what summer is supposed to be. And you'd be right. Back in Asbury Park, we're at Tallulas. Tallulas is the wood-fired pizza, natural wine, full of itself in the best way restaurant on Cookman Avenue that helped make Asbury Park the food town it is now. Always packed, always loud, always at least one couple at the bar that is either falling in love or arguing about a text from someone's ex, you can't tell which. The pizzas are excellent. The wine list is the kind of list where everything has a story and a producer name nobody can pronounce. The whole place has that very specific Brooklyn spilled out to the beach vibe that Asbury has perfected over the last decade. Tallulas is where you go with friends. 2 pizzas, 3 bottles, the night gets away from you, and that's the point. Next up is Drifthouse in Seabright. David Burke is a celebrity chef with a few decades of New York fine dining credibility, and Drifthouse is his oceanfront Jersey Shore concept, sweeping Atlantic views, theatrical American menu, the kind of plates that arrive at the table and 3 other tables turn to look. Friday night dinner is a full-blown scene, by which I mean people are dressed to be photographed, in some cases by themselves on their own phone propped against a water glass. The food matches the energy. Burke is known for theatrical presentations, salt-aged steaks, a hot pink salt brick that he hangs meat from like he's an artisanal serial killer. And it all works. Drifthouse is a showing-off restaurant. If your in-laws are visiting from out of state and you want them to understand that New Jersey is not what they saw on TV, this is where you take them. Back down south, we have Stephen Cookies in Margate. Stephen Cookies has been a Margate institution for over 25 years, opened by Cookie Till, who was doing farm-to-table before the words farm-to-table meant anything in this country. She now owns and runs her own 78-acre farm that supplies the restaurant. Most chefs talk about sourcing. Cookie literally went out and bought a farm and grew the sourcing. The lump crab cakes are legendary. The room is refined but unpretentious, the kind of place where the menu doesn't change much because it doesn't need to, and the regulars order the same thing every time because they figured out years ago that they were right. This is the restaurant the year-round Margate people go to, the people who actually live there. That's the test. Across the bay is the Crab Trap in Summers Point. The Crab Trap is a 400-seat South Jersey seafood mecca that sits at the foot of the Summers Point Ocean City Bridge, and it has been family-run by the Wallaces for almost 60 years. Jack Wallace bought a tap-and sandwich joint called Menner's Cafe in 1967 and slowly turned it into the bayfront powerhouse it is today. The house-made bread basket arrives with warm blueberry muffins. Yes, blueberry muffins with dinner, and yes, it works. Do not ask questions. The deluxe deviled crab cakes are the move here. Their best-selling item for over 40 years. The steamed Alaskan king crab legs are also a move if you have something to prove. Outside, Krabby Jack's deck bar gives you the island-style bayfront experience, which is a fancy way of saying you can drink a frozen cocktail in flip-flops and watch boats. The Crab Trap is the big family dinner restaurant. If your family has too many people in it, this is where you go. Next up, Rooney's Oceanfront restaurant in Long Branch. Rooney's is right on the sand in Long Branch with massive ocean views, and it operates as a special occasion dining seafood restaurant. Lobster, crab cakes, fresh fish, the whole upscale seafood playbook executed at the level that makes you take a picture of the sunset, even though you have 300 other sunset pictures on your phone already. This is the birthday restaurant. The we want a fancy dinner, but also we want to see the ocean restaurant. And in Long Branch, where Pier Village has the casual scene, and Avenue and Serena have the fancy scene, Rooney's has the I want an actual view scene. Next, the Lobster House in Cape May. The Lobster House has been open in the Cape May fishing harbor for over 70 years, which means it likely predates everything in your life, including most of your country's foreign policy. And it's 3 experiences in one. There's the sit-down restaurant, there's the takeout raw bar window where you can grab fried clams and eat them at a picnic table. And there's the schooner cocktail deck, which is a literal old wooden ship permanently docked that you can drink on. The fish was probably swimming the morning you eat it. That's not a marketing slogan, that's just where the building is. It's on the working fishing harbor. The fishing boats are right there. The whole supply chain is 120 feet long. The Lobster House is for big groups, casual eats, and that very specific feeling of eating seafood at a place that has been doing seafood since your great-grandfather was a child. Finally, we conclude our list with the Black Whale Bar and Fish House in Beach Haven. We end in Long Beach Island with fresh fish, oysters, and a great bar scene. Locals don't want you to know about it, but here we are. This is the LBI staple. Casual, friendly, the kind of place where the bartender knows what you drink by the second visit, and where summer regulars greet each other like it's a high school reunion every Friday night. Order oysters, order the fish of the day, sit at the bar, talk to the people next to you because they live there and you don't, and that's the entire point of going to the shore in the first place. So there it is, 15 of the best restaurants on the Jersey Shore. If your favorite didn't make the list, drop it in the comments. Comment if we should make a part 2.